Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to introduce a Dremel to your dog. So I love using a Dremel with my dogs. I do a lot of camping and I can really get a nice smooth nail with a Dremel that won't pop my sleeping pad, which is not a fun thing to have happen in the backcountry. And so I use a Dremel to keep their nails trim, and right now I'm actually working on getting them a bit shorter, so I'm doing the Dremel weekly, but you should do this about every 2 weeks once you're good at it. And so the Dremel's kind of scary, you know, it makes pretty loud, scary noise, and it vibrates, and it's a weird feeling on your dog's nails. So if you want to include a Dremel as a part of your dog's nail kit, you're gonna have to take time on introducing this. And so what that means is working really slowly, introducing it really slowly, and making it a really positive experience and not pushing them too hard. So I will give a great example of when I pushed it too hard. A couple years ago when I first introduced this, my dog Buffy, who I'm not demoing on today, but she does okay with this now, but she was doing really well with the Dremel. And then one day in particular, she decided she didn't really like it. And I continued to Dremel her nail as she moved her back feet away and then ended up climbing onto the back of the couch. And all this happened in a couple seconds. And then as soon as I would bring out the Dremel after that, she would run. So I had to start from scratch rebuilding this. And so that's why it's really important to take your time when you're introducing this. If you take your time at the beginning, then it's going to help you much more over time. I know nails feel like an urgent thing, but there are other ways to trim your dog's nails. Those include things like taking your dog on walks on sidewalks. That naturally kind of erodes at the nails. There's also nail boards that you can put together to teach your dog how to scratch. And so, or, you know, there's always the groomer, but if they're not comfortable with the groomer, it's not a great option. But you can get your dog used to this pretty quickly just through a couple short training sessions every single day. So if you feel it's urgent, I recommend that you take the advice in this video and really work on it every single day and work on it just slowly to your dog's pace. So I'm going to be introducing this to a dog who's already fairly used to it, but he's not quite at the same comfort level as my other dog, although, you know, and what that means is that it's a two-person job. So I have my partner is feeding him treats while I'm using the Dremel, and that's just what works for him and keeps him comfortable. But I'd like to work to the point where he can take it, you know, with just me doing the nails. So I would do a nail, then give a treat, and so on. There's also nothing wrong with doing one nail and then the next day doing another nail, or doing one paw and then the next day doing another paw. So you don't feel like you have to do this all at once, and know that if your dog is struggling with this, they're not trying to be spiteful. They're not trying to be difficult. They're just scared and uncomfortable, and they're just reacting accordingly. And so think of, you know, we all know people who maybe are very uncomfortable at the dentist, things like that. You know, that's just how our dogs feel, and they're responding with how they feel. They're not thinking about trying to make it difficult for you. So we're gonna go ahead and start to work on this, and I will show you how to start introducing the Dremel. All right, so I'm here with my dog Cody. I've got a pouch full of yummy high-value treats, and what I'm gonna do is just put the Dremel in front of him and give him some cookies right around that Dremel. Yeah. Your dog might be pretty slow here, maybe approaching the Dremel pretty standoffishly. Like I said, Cody has experience with this Dremel, so this is a pretty not stressful thing for him. But this is how we start. And we just start where we introduce it, just like this, creating that positive association in their brain, making them feel good when they see it. Nice job, buddy. Yeah. Good job. Now, once our dog is pretty comfortable, like Cody, you know, has no issue touching that Dremel, getting cookies off it, is not looking, you know, standoffish when it moves around. He's just like, will it pay out more cookies, please? Then it's time to introduce it with some noise. Again, I'm not actually touching him here, and I'm gonna start on that low setting. So now I got noise, and oh, he took a tiny step back. So it's not his favorite noise. Good job. Yeah. And if my dog was even further, I would be working further away, but he's okay with being fairly close to this. So I'm letting that happen. Nice job. Yeah, you good boy. Very nice. I'll give him a break, give him some pets. Nice job. And so in my next training session, what I would be doing now is introducing it on a higher sound. Yeah, it's not as interesting when it's like that, hey? That's the sound he's used to with it. And I can tell, you know, we still have a bit of work to do. I'm getting some slightly quicker breathing from him. It's just showing he's just, you know, he's a little bit on edge. It's not, like I said, his favorite thing in the world. And so we're still actively working on this. Nice job. Good joy. Nice. And so once your dog is comfortable with this device, comfortable having it turn on with the sound, and they're not looking stressed out, now it's time to introduce touching their feet with it, but we're not gonna have it on for this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna touch his foot, give him a cookie. Touch his foot, give him a cookie. So he moved his nail away. That's a good sign that he's not loving it, so I'm gonna touch the top of his foot. Nice job. Nice job. Touch the other foot. Touch the back foot. Nice job. And I'm just pairing that touching with food. Yay. Very nice job, buddy. Good job. He's like, more cookies, please. This isn't so bad. Yeah. And so now I'll try to touch a nail. Again, it's not on, but I'm just kind of giving that feeling of the sandpaper tip on the nail without sound or anything. Now, one thing I've noticed in him, and I think because he knows we're going to be working on this, he's taking those treats slightly harder. That's a sign that he's just a little bit uncomfortable. So again, going pretty slow. Nice job, buddy. And just taking our time. Yeah, very nice. So once our dog is comfortable with us touching their feet with it, what we're gonna do next is actually turn it on low, but I'm not going to touch him with the grinder. Just gonna touch him with the device so he feels that vibration on his foot. Nice job, buddy. You're doing so good. Yeah. Move that paw away, wasn't too sure about it. Nice job. And you want to make sure that you go and you get all different paws with this. Now we're progressing pretty quickly for this video, but not in the same training session. You would then progress to turning it on high and just, again, touching them so they get that vibration feeling. But I'm not actually trying to grind his nails. I'm just making sure that he understands that, you know, this is how it's going to feel when it's vibrating and it's loud. He's not taking the treats quite as hard anymore. I think he's relaxing a little bit. Yeah, good job. Nice job. And we would work on all 4 paws with that, making sure that he's comfortable when it's time to start touching one of his nails. And so I'm going to continue working on this, and then I'm going to try in probably just a little bit here once he's a bit more comfortable grinding a nail. So we'll just come back and do that. All right, so we've been working on this, and now it's time to introduce just that first grinding. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him a cookie as I turn this on. I'm gonna grab that paw. Yes, good job. And I just touched it once. I say yes, and I give him a cookie. So we'll do that again. Good job. Yes. Now pulling to get out of there really hard. He's a little nervous though, so you know, I'm going really slow, giving him that cookie. I'm gonna grab the paw. Yes, good job. Sorry, bud. Yeah. And we're just gonna keep repeating that. So this is basically kind of the end of that, how to introduce this. We're just going to be taking our time from now on, introducing it really nice and slow, working just, you know, a couple touches on the nail until he has more comfort. Now, you might be able to get a few more touches if you have a partner who can give them cookies. And so we'll just, take our time with it and keep working at it. But this is kind of the basics of how we introduce the Dremel to our dogs. So with introducing that Dremel, you really do have to take your time, make sure that your dog is comfortable, work slowly and at their pace. When you are having to cut their nails, if you have a partner, like I said, you can make that more comfortable for your dog by giving them that food more often. Some people who are working solo will stuff a Kong and have the dog licking that Kong while they do their nails. That might work for you. I like to use squeeze tubes. I fill them up with some very high value wet dog food, and then I have my partner kind of squeezing that out and rewarding my dog the whole time that the Dremel is touching their nails. So once I'm not touching their nails, the squeeze tube goes away, but while he is getting his nails trimmed, the squeeze tube is just giving him lots of good stuff. It makes him really a lot more comfortable with the whole thing. You know, like I said, we're still working on it. We're not quite there as to where I want to be with him. I'd like for him to be able to just have me do his nails, and but you know, sometimes you just have to work on it. We just had to start working on it more because I moved to a location where we walk mostly on trails, and so we weren't getting that normal grinding down on walking on pavement anymore, and so I had to compensate by dremeling his nails once a week, and I don't want it to be a traumatic experience. So I did work on all those steps you saw today, introducing that Dremel nice and slow, making him comfortable, and then when it comes to the dremeling the nails, I'm still using food consistently until I get to a point where he is comfortable with just the Dremel and food in between. So I'm going to work at his pace. I'm going to keep working on this, and I hope that this was useful for some of you out there. I hope that you all take your time with this. Do not force them. Don't think that your dog is just going to get used to it. They're really not. They're just going to start to hate it a lot more and be even more scared of it. So it is worth taking your time with this. You're going to have to do this for the rest of your dog's life. You want that to be enjoyable, don't you? So, and they would sure prefer it to be enjoyable. So take your time, work with a partner if you need to do it now, and you know, just go work at your dog's pace. And remember, they're never doing anything to spite you. They're never doing anything to be difficult. They're really just uncomfortable. So we can do a lot to make that better for them. So best of luck. Post in the comments if this was helpful for you. And I really hope that you all get your dogs to be happily Dremeled in the future. All right. Thanks, everyone.